Even if your world falls down, get yourself up off the ground. And since you know the pain has its own path, just be strong because pain won't last forever.
Today, are you feeling a little alone?
Hey all you RPers out there in YouTube channel land, welcome to the channel for people with retinitis pigmentosa like you and me, called Get Yourself Up. My name is David and I am your host, although not with the most. I used to teach, now I live at the beach. I'm living the dream, if you know what I mean, regardless of dealing with defective genes. There have been times when sadness I've felt, but I just keep playing the hands I've been dealt. Life doesn't suck, you'll eventually see. Not with MS, not with RP. The reason I bring up MS is because I also have multiple sclerosis, because I won the medical lottery not once but twice. But this channel, Get Yourself Up, focuses on retinitis pigmentosa. You have it, a loved one has it, I have it, we all have to battle with it. It's a challenge every single day. I had no plans on doing a channel other than a number of people have asked me to, based on the way I live my life, because they can't imagine how do I deal with RP plus multiple sclerosis every single day and yet wake up in a good mood. And they said, you really need to put that on YouTube so people can see that. Not necessarily for everyone, it's kind of adult related. Nothing raunchy, but you know, the way I do things might be different for me than they would be for you. But basically, it's all about keeping yourself up, being happy, even though you've been given this horrible diagnosis of retinitis pigmentosa, which can cause people to get very depressed, even sadly suicidal, unfortunately. And I am here to tell you as living proof I've been through everything you guys have gone through. Most likely, and I still wake up just fine. Living the dream, as I always say. Just a cheesehead in paradise. I'm originally from Wisconsin. How do I live the dream with RP and MS? I focus on 5 particular domains. Back when I was a teacher, I taught at middle school. In the summers, I worked as an adjunct professor at the University of Georgia. I focused on 5 things in addition to the curriculum. That would be developing students cognitively, emotionally, socially, physically, and morally. Students can't concentrate and learn the curriculum if they don't focus on those things as part of it. Cognitive, emotional, social, physical, and moral. And it just came to me one day that, you know what, that's how I live my life with RP and with MS. That if I get my brain working, doing the cognitive things, get that up, that's a good start. Emotionally, I get myself up that way. Forget the depression, forget the sadness, hang out with positive people. Socially, one of the things that drives me crazy that you're going to notice on some of these episodes is that people give up their complete social lives because of a diagnosis of RP. My social life hasn't changed one bit, other than the fact I moved to a completely different state, completely different city. I knew virtually nobody, but I knew I could make things work. And you can too. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted, it doesn't matter. Just don't throw out your social life because you got this diagnosis of RP. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, as they say. The 4th domain I talk about, David's domains of happiness, is physical. Not just keeping yourself in shape, although that is a challenge when you're visually impaired, but we deal with a lot of physical pain. You're ramming into things, walking into poles you don't see, walking into your dishwasher door when it's open. I don't have that problem that much because I live by myself, so I don't do a whole lot of dishes, but I've done it every time I do dishes, I think. Tripping on those wet floor signs and whatever pylons happen to be in the way. Physical stuff can be painful, but it can also be good too, and it can be a learning experience. That's how I see it. I've broken my ankle multiple times, damaged both my shoulders, multiple concussions from falling in parking lots. Believe me, I've been there, I've done it. It's expensive for the medical bills, it's expensive for the physical therapy, but it doesn't keep me down. It just teaches me a lesson as to what not to do next time. And the fifth and final domain I talk about is moral, in that be a good moral person, as in, remember, there are people out there way worse off than you are and way worse off than I am and I ever will be. Look out for them. You'll feel much better about yourself and realize you don't have things so badly after all. My life is actually better now dealing with the retinitis pigmentosa probably than it's ever been at any given time in my life. I'm not married, I don't have kids, I'm not saying that's why it's good. I'm just saying, even though those things haven't happened for me yet, maybe someday, my life is still great and I still wake up in a good mood and I am very active. If you're interested in me talking about any particular thing or addressing something or answering a question, feel free to email me for the show. Email address is getyourselfup and the number 1 at gmail.com. Getyourselfup1@gmail.com. I've got my cane here, as always. Don't be ashamed of your cane. This episode, number 1 from season 1, is called Suck It Up, Buttercup. You've got retinitis pigmentosa. It's now time for you to start learning how to use a cane. Don't be ashamed of it. I do it, I take it with me everywhere I go, and a bunch of other things you're going to see throughout this episode. This is total amateur, low budget. If you're expecting some high quality Hollywood movie, you're in the wrong place. But if you just want to meet somebody who's just like you, dealing with the same stress and frustrations and pain, you might have come to the right place. On the Get Yourself Up channel on YouTube. From time to time I will throw a rhyme or two at you because that sometimes helps people remember things. Today's rhyme, which also happens to be the name of a few forthcoming episodes. Use the cane, avoid the pain. I'll say it again. Use the cane, avoid the pain. That's one of those things people always ask, I see on social media, when should I begin cane training? And I just respond, you'll know. You'll know. You'll fall one too many times, it'll hurt too much physical damage, too much humiliation, embarrassment. You'll get your medical bills in the mail and you'll be like, yeah, maybe I should have just used my cane that day and I would have avoided all of that stuff. So, use the cane, avoid the pain. Before I get started with this episode, remember this is the Get Yourself Up channel because it's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. Literally and figuratively, remember that. It's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. I hope you guys get something out of this channel, and particularly out of this first episode, of what to take with you and why whenever you go out in public. Do not become a hermit and just stay home. Don't be afraid to go out by yourself and meet new people. You'll be amazed at how life goes. So, episode 1, Suck It Up, Buttercup. It's not how you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. Enjoy. Hi everybody out there in Facebook land with retinitis pigmentosa, members of the RP group, whatever it's called, I always forget. Normally I don't do videos, I just tend to type responses to people's questions or concerns. But it was suggested to me by one member of the group that I should do a video. I don't know why, other than maybe people don't actually read everything I have to write, because I do get a little wordy. This video is called Suck it up, Buttercup. And I will tell you why. Among other things. It's about this cane, or as some people refer to it as the damn cane, or the cane of death, or the cane of humiliation. I'm too embarrassed to use a cane. That just doesn't make me seem cool. Whatever, if that's how you feel, you need to suck it up, Buttercup, because you need it. I need it. I take it everywhere I go. And had to go through a lot of physical therapy, and it's not fun, and it's expensive, and it sucks. Had I just been using this the way I was supposed to and the way I was taught to, I'll probably show you a picture of my orientation and mobility instructor. They used to fuss at me about that, so I learned a lot from her. I live in Naples, Florida, about a mile from Vanderbilt Beach, which is just to the west, right back there. And the point of this cane and this video is that nobody needs to change your life the way you want to live your life to be happy. This does not cause you to not enjoy your life. It saves it so that you can enjoy it. I moved down to Naples and I knew essentially nobody, so I just packed up and moved. I used to be a teacher and a part-time musician. That's how I paid my way through college and graduate school. Anyway, born with retinitis pigmentosa. I also have multiple sclerosis. As a result, I don't perform much anymore because I can't drive. Had my license taken away. That's another big issue I hear about in this group all the time. It's no big deal. I ended up having to move because where I used to live in Atlanta, in the part of Atlanta I lived, I didn't qualify for paratransit, so I made sure I bought a house that was in a zone where I could use paratransit to travel cheaper. Just so happened to be near the beach, and 2 grocery stores and Walmart, and actually a state park and nightlife entertainment district all within a mile of my house. Do not be ashamed when you get your cane. See how much use mine gets? You can see the tip is totally worn out. I have it with me at all times, except like when I go visit neighbors right across the street from me. But I was told to tell people about my black bag. Doesn't matter to you that it's a Green Bay Packers bag. It can be any black bag. Or I also have a yellow one which works well when it's dark. And when you have retinitis pigmentosa, it always seems, after a while, a number of years of having it, that everything is either really dark or really bright. I used to be a teacher and had to go on disability as a result of it because my peripheral vision was closing in from the sides as well as from the top and the bottom. Makes it hard to teach. Not saying I didn't know the curriculum, and I'm not saying that I didn't do a great job, and the administrators were really sad to see that that had to happen, but that's what happened and I was prepared for it. So when I got the call, put my house on the market and just moved a mile from the beach to a completely different state where I didn't know essentially anybody. But back to the point of this video, which like I said, I'm calling Suck It Up, Buttercup. I've got my cane with me. I'll show you some other things that I carry in my black bag of awesomeness. If you have retinitis pigmentosa, you damn well better be wearing sunglasses every single time you step foot outside. Yes, I'm in sunny Southwest Florida where the sun is really intense, even right now when the rest of the country is in a blizzard. Even snow can do damage to your retinas from the bright sunlight bearing down on the snow that hits the back of your eyes. That'll damage your retinas. When I'm indoors, like right now, I don't need my sunglasses, but I sure as heck put them in the case, throw them in the back of my bag, my black bag. So now I've got my cane and my sunglasses in there. I don't carry this in my bag, I usually carry it in my pocket. But this is my cell phone. I just wanted to point out that there's an app that you can get that works as a flashlight and a magnifying glass. Comes in really handy if you're at a restaurant and it's dark. Everybody with RP should use it. And even a lot of people that don't have RP you'll see using that particular app, because as we all get older, everybody needs reading glasses anyway. You can tell I have RP because I'm kind of having to feel around for everything, where everything is that I want to talk about. But since I'm speaking of reading glasses, there you go. Got to read a menu. I still have some Central Vision left. You can get them $10 at any pharmacy. You can get them online and Amazon. I've got like a pack of 5 for $15, really cheap. Before I move on though, I want to point out one thing. Because when you do have your cane, people often ask, or they'll tell me, you don't look blind, as if I'm supposed to say, well gee, why don't you tell me what a blind person looks like? I don't have a clue because I'm blind. Makes no sense. And sometimes, yeah, I can have a spunky attitude. And I might just say, well, what does a blind person look like? But a better way to handle it, and I've explained this on the RP Facebook group. In a nutshell, I tell them I was born with a degenerative retinal disease called retinitis pigmentosa, which causes you to lose your peripheral vision over time. It degenerates, and even your lower and upper vision until it closes in. They still quite don't get it. So then I say, all right, if one eye is better than the other, close your good eye. And in my case, my good eye would be my left eye. So I would close that and use my right eye. My right eye is very weak. It's like 2200 with the Central Vision. Plus with the multiple sclerosis, my whole eye has what's called nystagmus, which causes everything to jump up and down. So, regardless of that, like I said, this isn't about MS. I tell people to do this. Take your good eye and just do this with your hand. Close your good eye, do this over your bad eye so you can see what I see like. And you make kind of like a telescope. You could do it with a toilet paper tube or a paper towel tube, for example. And then they can see that, wow, there really is no peripheral vision here. And then I'll do something like I'll say, okay, now look me straight in the eyes. And so they'll look straight at me in the eye. And I'll just hold out my hand below as if I'm going to shake their hand. And they just sit there and they're looking around trying to see what it's like, to see what it must be like for somebody with retinitis pigmentosa. And I simply say, why aren't you shaking my hand? And they inevitably look down and see that I have my hand out ready to shake theirs. And they say, wow, I didn't see that. And I say, exactly. That's how I see. I might have some decent central vision and I can still see some in a distance from my left eye, but that's a little simple thing you can do if people start harassing you or questioning you that. You can even have them do it over their good eye. They still can't see you trying to shake their hands. Now, I do have some friends of mine that are sighted just fine, and they'll tease me from time to time, which is fine because I give it right back to them. But when I give them the explanation and I say, okay, do this, then I just slap them in the face and say, why didn't you block that? Why didn't you see that coming? Don't do that to a stranger. But if it's a friend of yours that knows your situation, it's good for a laugh from time to time. Okay, back to the story of Suck It Up, Buttercup. Make sure with retinitis pigmentosa you get a flashlight like this one. It is super high power. It doesn't take batteries. It charges on this charging station, which is micro USB, the same thing you charge your cell phone with. Just charge it overnight, pop it in here, and the cable plugs in right here. It's a little difficult to get it in there, but once you do, it charges and the light turns a bright red when it's charging, and when it's fully charged then it starts blinking, and then you know you can take it out and use it. So I don't bring the charging station with me necessarily, but I make sure that I take the charged flashlight, put it in my black bag. Some of you might also want to use a big cop flashlight, I would call it, but it's heavy. But if you're in an unsafe area or where you just don't feel comfortable, you can use that as a weapon. You always want to have 2 flashlights, obviously in case the charge goes out of the first one. Here's an example of a marshmallow tip that sometimes I will take with me if I want to replace my tip, because this one rotates so it doesn't get all chewed up. This cane looks exactly like the cane I use normally. This is my old one. It's made out of metal. You can see it starts getting torn up. You can get a graphite cane on Amazon.com for 49 bucks, and it doesn't fall apart like the metal ones do. That reminds me also, we have an excellent organization here in Naples called the Lighthouse of Collier to help people with visual impairments and who are totally blind. And like any place, you can go through your city or your county or your state, and they will have aids that you can get to help you see better, whether it's software for your computer or whatever. Quite often you'll find that it's expensive, requires a lot of paperwork, requires doctors to fill out forms, whatever. Just go on Amazon, and I would say 7 times out of 10 you can find the same thing, but even cheaper oftentimes. I prefer the graphite cane. Okay, back to my bag. This is the easiest thing. It's called a paper towel. Why would I bring a paper towel and stick it in my bag? A couple reasons. Sometimes I bring like 4 or 5 of them because they're not heavy. We inevitably spill things, knock things over, trip on things. You name it, we're famous for it. It's good to just pull out a paper towel and clean up the mess right there. It also comes in handy, like when I told you I tripped, tore up my shoulders. I didn't mention my knees, but my forehead. I had blood everywhere. Paper towels at least help clean that up a little bit, so they come in handy for that as well. I am an avid reader in a book club, so I bring my Amazon Kindle with me. Everyone should get a Kindle, and I particularly recommend the Paperwhite because you can change the size of the font, so even if you don't want to use your reading glasses, you can make the letters as large as you want. Plus I get the newspaper downloaded automatically every day. What I like about the Paperwhite is it doesn't have backlighting that shines back in your face. The lights are actually above the screen shining down on the text. So when I look at a computer monitor, my eyes, my retinas get totally burned out for any length of time. With the Paperwhite model, it's 119 bucks on Amazon, of the Kindle, the books are cheaper, you can get newspapers downloaded, you can make the text, the font as large as you need it to, and take that with me wherever I go. You often find yourself just waiting when you have RP, waiting for rides, whether it's waiting for a bus or an Uber. I also suggest Lyft if you have in your area, LYFT. They actually have a more stringent requirement for speaking English. Sometimes you get a driver that doesn't speak English too well, and so I had a funny scene happen a month or 2 ago. Me not being visually able to tell the driver where to go, the Uber GPS pretty much sucks, and the guy didn't speak English. But yet we somehow got to where we needed to go, but that was a challenge, so you might want to check out Lyft if you use Uber. If you're getting rides from people, make sure you get disability parking passes. Again, don't be ashamed of that. That's one of those things I don't bring with me regularly, and I should, but I always feel like there's somebody that's got more of a disability than I do, and they need that parking space more than I can. I can still walk. Even with the MS, even with the RP, I figure there are people worse off than me. Which now, I hadn't even planned on talking about this, but it makes sense. Shirt I'm wearing, if you can see it, G4V, or Guitars for Vets. It's a charitable organization some of you might be interested in. A guy he's playing a band with, Pat Nettisheim, co-founded it for veterans that have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they get free guitars and free guitar lessons, and they learn music, how to perform, to relieve themselves of their PTSD. And it's a wonderful program. It's been featured on the NBC News as well as a lot of other places. Google it, guitarsforvets.org, I believe is the address. And of course, since I live by the beach, I have to bring my beach parking pass. I don't own a car because I don't drive a car. Interesting thing is, a lot of people around here I've learned don't drive cars either, and it's not because of their vision. They just don't have to in this neighborhood. You can walk anywhere. Sometimes, instead of my black bag, I'll bring this thing instead. It can hold everything, including my cane and all the other stuff that's in my little black bag here, just fine. Plus it's insulated because it's a cooler bag. So I can put drinks, food, whatever. I just use Ziploc bags full of ice cubes. Can even put sunscreen in there. This is aerosol. If you don't want to use it for the environment, get the other kind. But I just throw it all in there and walk over to the beach. The other thing that works good, and this is a secret between you guys and me, this Coke that I've been drinking out of this nice Green Bay Packers koozie I got for a Christmas present. I take the koozie off and put it in the blue bag. And then I also take off the fake Coke can cover. And then I bring my beer. And it stays nice and cold with the ice in the cooler. Got these on eBay for like $1 a piece. The guy cuts them perfectly. And if you're a beer drinker, I grew up in Milwaukee, so that's just kind of how things are there. Just put it over your beer and now it's a Coke. Koozie helps cover up this little part here. Some places at the beach allow you to drink beer, others don't, so it's always good to throw those in. Anyway, yes, let's see if I got everything. Cane tips, sunglasses, reading glasses, flashlights, the light magnifier app on your cell phone, a Kindle Paperwhite if you're a reader, and I hope you are. Parking permits, paper towel. Oh, I forgot to mention umbrella. Of course I lost my umbrella, my small one, the one that would fit in my bags. We people with RP tend to lose things all the time. Fortunately, where I live in Naples, everything I lose always gets returned. It's crazy. I've lost my wallet twice at Office Depot. Went back, they had it for me. I can't even begin to tell you how many pairs of sunglasses or umbrellas at Walmart, for example. I just go to the desk and they have it for me. So I am blessed to be able to live in Naples, Florida, where everybody loves it and are happy to be here. Most of you probably don't care about the cooler bag I showed you, but if you do, sunscreen, ice, whatever. I get asked, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, because I used to be a teacher, to do presentations about retinitis pigmentosa, and sometimes combined with multiple sclerosis. And before I go, this was kind of amusing to me anyway. I did a presentation at the Rotary Club of Marco Island, which is the island right off the coast here in Naples. And this very nice elderly lady, who's probably 85 years old, came up and gave me a big hug after the presentation, which was very sweet. And she just said to me, "You are an amazing young man," which of course made me tear up a little bit. But I, of course, me being me, had to respond with, "Amazing young man, only one of those two things is true. Suck it up, Buttercup." Okay, so my presentation's been a little bit obnoxious, but like I said, I was asked to do it, so you can blame her if you don't like it. Or you can slam me on Facebook all you want, I don't care. I developed thick skin at a young age. But I might, if I have time, depending on how long this video is, leave you with a little song that I wrote, actually based on some of the posts that I saw people posting last year on the RP Facebook group about all of the concerns and fears and frustrations and depression that can come about with RP. And I wrote it just to hopefully cheer some people up. And I've also heard from a lot of other people that don't have retinitis pigmentosa but have other things that go wrong in their lives, and they like listening to this particular song. And they'll contact me and tell me that they liked it. They found it on iTunes or Amazon or Spotify or whatever. Again, I'm not trying to sell music, I don't care. The point of this is just suck it up. Use your white canes. But anyway, the name of this particular song that I'm talking about is simply called Get Yourself Up. So when you're feeling down or you literally fall down, get yourself up. There are a couple of other things out there as well. There's some other guy that has my same name that's not me. So don't get that confused. My songs are like the happy, beachy, acoustic songs, or they're the ones that are real hard rock when I used to have long hair. And whatever. Again, this is about the cane. Use the cane. Do not be ashamed of it. It will make your life better. And you will find out actually how altruistic people really can be and how helpful they want to be. You'll get the occasional smartass that will try messing with you, or the occasional soccer mom I used to experience that would think I was fully blind and would cut me off with her shopping cart at the grocery store. I could see that lady. It would happen from time to time. She didn't think I could. But it's still worth it. Stay safe. Use your cane. Use it the right way. Find the organization in your area that offers orientation and mobility training. Not to mention technology, because there are a lot of useful apps and things that you can use. Computer software to make your life better. It's all about quality of life. In my case, I bought my house a mile from the beach because that's what I love to do. So I went from being a teacher to a professional beach bum, and I've got to finish this up now because I am meeting some friends out for happy hour, because that's how we roll down here in Naples, Florida. Hope this helped at least one or two of you people that feel a little bit worried or frustrated or depressed or insecure, I guess would be the best word, about your white cane. Don't be. I will be using mine tonight. I'll be with a group of friends, men and women, who all know about my situation and all look out for me and have my back. One of them in particular happens to be a prison guard, and he's a big tough guy, and he thinks nothing of when we walk into the bar. He'll just say, "David, grab my elbow." I have to train them all, you know, that I grab their elbow and use my cane with my right hand, grab their elbow with my left hand, which is their right elbow, and go. And so when people see the two of us walk into the bar, they get the hell out of our way, because he's got that kind of intimidating sort of look. And it gets looks also because I've got my white cane with me. And then people oftentimes want to just come up and talk, or they're just impressed that No, I'm not letting this white cane keep me from living my life. I'm doing the exact same things I would be doing without it, just a little bit differently, and I'm not ashamed of it. I was born this way. That's like a Lady Gaga song. Can't help it. You are the way you are. I am the way I am. And life is short, so live the best you can. Living the dream here in Naples, Florida, aka paradise. Talk to you guys maybe later. Okay, so hopefully you got a little bit out of this episode's footage. Got to be familiar with my backpack bags that I got cheap on Amazon. You don't need expensive things, but there are very important things you want to take with you at all times. As far as my 5 domains, I would say that this episode talked a little bit about cognitivism. Be smart, think ahead of time, be proactive. When you're going to step outside the house, make sure you have certain things with you and be smart about that. As far as emotional, that domain wasn't touched upon too much, other than if something drastic would happen when you step outside and you don't have those things, you might get really frustrated. That could be a problem, but that wasn't really the focus of it. 3rd domain, social, absolutely. If you go outside, which I hope you do, have those things with you, you'll realize that your social life will be so much better. You'll have everything you need. You're prepared for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Physical domain, definitely. Use the cane, avoid the pain. Have the flashlights, anything like that that you might need if you have to go out into the dark. Sometimes you leave in the middle of the afternoon, it's broad daylight, you get home at night, it's dark. Are you prepared for that? Could be a physical problem, especially in my driveway. I have a drainage ditch out there. It is dangerous. And the 5th domain I didn't really touch upon in this episode, the moral domain. So I'm not going to worry about that, but we did talk a little bit about cognitive, slightly about emotional, definitely about social, definitely about physical. Not so worried about the moral in this particular episode of Suck It Up, Buttercup. So remember, use the cane, avoid the pain. It's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. See you next time with episode 2. Take care.
Even if your world falls down, get yourself up off the ground. And since you know the pain has its own path, just be strong, because pain won't last forever.
Today, are you feeling a little alone? People's true colors are starting to show. Did you get dumped by that special someone? Or much worse off, did you lose a dear loved one? So are you feeling really down today? Cause you just learned your best friend passed away. Yet all the bullies are having a parade, and you feel like no one will ever come to your aid. Infuriated, incapacitated, so deflated, frustrated, and often just hated. Unappreciated and unmotivated, so alienated, just plain devastated. Heart's been confiscated, feel so separated, life's too complicated, rather just get sedated. It's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. Get yourself up, get yourself up. Get yourself up, get yourself up. So I don't like the way that I look at today. Consider myself lucky, worse could be on the way. So I think about those who are really in need, and I try to help them out as I rethink my greed. Intrinsic motivation is all that it takes, so I don't wait for others to fix my mistakes. Don't wait for an invitation, it won't arrive. It's only up to me to make myself feel alive. Infuriated, incapacitated, so deflated, frustrated, and often just hated. Unappreciated and unmotivated, so alienated, just plain devastated. Heart's been confiscated, feel so separated. Life's too complicated, rather just get sedated. It's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. Get yourself up, 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 get yourself up. You got some really sad news today, dealing with a really heavy heart. You're keeping it all inside yourself, and it's starting to tear you apart. If your friends don't help you with serious stuff, they're probably not real friends at all. Look in the mirror and then ask yourself, are you really heeding my call? So be the good friend you know you should be. There are people worse off than you'll ever be. They need your help, so lend them a hand, and someone will help you and you'll understand. So elevate, invigorate, whatever their problem, help dominate. Someday looking down from up above, it's not how they fall, it's how you help them up. Get yourself up, get yourself up. Get yourself up, get yourself up. Get yourself up, get yourself up.
Strong because pain won't last forever. Even if your world falls down, get yourself up off the ground. And since you know the pain has its own path, just be strong because pain won't last forever.
Today, are you feeling a little alone? People's true colors are starting to show. Did you get dumped by that special someone? Or much worse off, did you lose a dear loved one? So are you feeling really down today? Cause you just learned your best friend passed away. Yet all the bullies are having a parade, and you feel like no one will ever come to your aid. Infuriated, incapacitated, so deflated, frustrated, and often just hated. Unappreciated and unmotivated, so alienated, just plain devastated. Heart's been confiscated, feel so separated. Life's too complicated, rather just get sedated. It's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. Get yourself up, 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 get yourself up. So I don't like the way that I look today. Consider myself yourself lucky, worse could be on the way. So I think about those who are really in need, and I try to help them out as I rethink my creed. Intrinsic motivation is all that it takes, so I don't wait for others to fix my mistakes. Don't wait for an invitation, it won't arrive. It's only up to me to make myself feel alive. Infuriated, incapacitated, so deflated, frustrated, and often just hated. Unappreciated and unmotivated, so alienated, just plain devastated. Heart's been confiscated, feel so separated. Life's too complicated, rather just get sedated. It's not that you fall down, it's how you get yourself up. Get yourself up, 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 get yourself up. You got some really sad news today, dealing with a really heavy heart. You're keeping it all inside yourself, and it's starting to tear you apart. If your friends don't help you with serious stuff, they're probably not real friends at all. Look in the mirror and then ask yourself, are you really heeding my call? So be the good friend you know you should be. There are people worse off than you'll ever be. They need your help, so lend them a hand, and someone will help you and you'll understand. So elevate, invigorate, whatever their problem, help dominate. Someday looking down from up above, it's not how they fall, it's how you help them up. Get yourself up, get yourself up. Get yourself up, get yourself up. Get yourself up, get yourself up.